Welcome to Channel Science. Let's start our program today.
Sometimes a word of caution is written on the rear side of heavy vehicles like buses and trucks as air brake, keep 50 feet distance. Did you ever notice it? The caution indicates that air is used in applying brakes to the heavy vehicle. Similarly, some vehicles like cars use oil in the brake system for the effective application of brakes. To have a complete comprehension of such a system, we need to understand a principle discovered by a French scientist, Blaise Pascal. The molecules of a liquid exert great repulsive forces when they are pushed closer to each other than their normal distance. Due to this property, liquids cannot be easily compressed by application of thrust on the surface. Thus, any force applied on a liquid surface is immediately transmitted to every part of the liquid, and the applied pressure at the surface is felt equally at every part of the liquid. This may be demonstrated by filling a long-necked bulb having a number of holes with water. When pressure is applied on the water by pushing the piston fitted in the neck of the bulb, water rushes out with equal pressure from all the holes. Pascal's law. An increase in pressure at any point inside a fluid at rest is transmitted equally and without any change in all directions to every other point in the liquid. This law is useful in designing instruments like Brahma press, hydraulic press, etc. This principle is used in the development of hydraulic brakes that are used in automobiles. This law is also known as the law of transmission of fluid pressure. Brahma press. Here we consider two cylinders P and Q connected at the bottom by another horizontal tube. P having smaller area of cross-section A1 and Q having larger area of cross-section A2. The two cylinders are filled with a liquid and are fitted with airtight pistons. If a force F1 is applied on the piston of cylinder P, the pressure exerted on the liquid in the cylinder P is P1, that is F1 over A1. According to Pascal's law, this applied pressure is transmitted to every part of the fluid in all directions. So, the same pressure is applied on the piston of cylinder Q in the upward direction. If the pressure applied on piston of cylinder Q is P2, then P1 is equal to P2. As the area of cross-section of the cylinder Q is A2, the force exerted on the piston of cylinder Q is given by F2, that is A2 into P2. But we already have P2 which is equal to P1, and that is F1 over A1. Therefore, F2 is equal to A2 into F1 over A1. That is equal to A2 over A1 times F1. As A2 is greater than A1, therefore F2 becomes greater than F1. Thus, force on piston of cylinder Q is A2 by A1 times the force which is applied on piston of cylinder P. Thus, applying small force at one point, this force can be multiplied at the other point, and a heavy load kept on the platform of piston of cylinder Q is lifted. Brahma press schematically represents a hydraulic press which is used in compressing cotton bales or straw bales and also has many applications in industries. Hydraulic brakes are generally used in automobiles having large mass like cars, trucks, etc. When a heavy vehicle is moving with a high speed, in order to stop it within a limited distance, a large amount of retarding force is required. In such a situation, a considerable amount of force cannot be applied on the wheels of the vehicle by ordinary lever brakes. So, hydraulic brakes are used. Hydraulic brake system consists of a master cylinder and a brake cylinder connected by a thick metallic pipe filled with a thick oil, generally called brake oil. The two cylinders are provided with airtight pistons. The piston of master cylinder is connected by levers to the brake pedal situated at the foot area of the driver. The brake cylinder is located in the wheel of the vehicle. The pistons of the brake cylinder are connected to brake shoes. A spring is connected to the two brake shoes which restore the brakes to the normal position. In the process of applying brakes, the driver applies a force on the brake pedal. This force is transmitted to the piston of the master cylinder through levers. The piston of the master cylinder thus moves forward, applying pressure in the brake oil. This increase in pressure is transmitted to the oil in the brake cylinder, and thus the pistons of the brake cylinder are pushed outward, thereby pressing the brake shoes against the rim of the wheel. The friction between brake shoes and the wheel rim slows down or stops the vehicle. If the driver relieves the force on the brake pedal, the pedal is restored to its original position with the help of a spring connected to the pedal. This releases the pressure on the brake oil, and the pistons of the brake cylinder restored to their normal position with the help of the restoring spring. Now we talk about upthrust or buoyant force. When a body is immersed completely or partly in a fluid, the body experiences an upward thrust. This upward force exerted by the fluid on the immersed body is known as upthrust or buoyant force. The property of a fluid to exert buoyant force on an object immersed in it is known as buoyancy. Here, F is the upthrust, which is equal to P into A. P is the pressure exerted at the immersed height H, that is, at the bottom surface, by the liquid of density rho. Therefore, pressure P is rho into G into H. So, upthrust F will be rho into G into H into A. Now, H into A is V, which is the volume of the immersed part of the body. Again, the body displaces liquid of volume which is same with the volume of its immersed part. So, the upthrust on the body is F, that is V into rho into G. Greek mathematical physicist Archimedes was one of the scientists who changed the world. Now we discuss Archimedes' principle. When a body is partially or completely immersed in a fluid at rest, it experiences an upthrust which is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by it. Due to a upthrust acting on the body, it apparently loses a part of its weight, and the apparent loss of weight is equal to the upthrust. Thus, for a body either partially or completely immersed in a fluid, upthrust is equal to weight of the fluid displaced, that is equal to apparent loss of weight of the body. When a body is immersed in a fluid, two possibilities arise. The body may sink in the fluid or it may float. The floating or the sinking of a body in a fluid depends on the net force acting on the body in the fluid. The forces that act on the body in the fluid are its weight acting downwards along its center of gravity and the upthrust acting on the body by the fluid at the center of buoyancy. If the weight of the body is greater than the upthrust, then a net downward force acts on the body and it sinks in the fluid. Weight of the body is m into g. M is mass of the body, g is gravitational acceleration, and mg is greater than v rho g, where v rho g is the upthrust on the body. V is the volume of the liquid which is displaced by the body, and rho is the density of the liquid. Now in this situation, whole body is immersed. So, volume of the body is equal to the volume of the liquid displaced. Therefore, we have V dg is greater than V rho g. Now, if we divide both the sides by Vg, we shall have d greater than rho. So, this phenomenon arises when density of the body is greater than the density of the fluid, and weight of the body will be reduced inside the fluid, and it will have an apparent weight which is equal to the net downward weight. If the weight of the body is equal to the upthrust, for an example, the weight of the fluid displaced by it, the net force acting on the body is 0, and the body just floats in the fluid. The upper surface of the body coincides with the free surface of the fluid in this situation. Here we have weight of the body is equal to upthrust on the body. That is, mg is equal to v rho g. We are already familiar with the symbols m, v and rho. Therefore, v dg is equal to v rho g. Now dividing both sides by Vg, we have d equals to rho. Therefore, we can say this phenomenon arises when the density of the body is equal to the density of the fluid. If the weight of the body is less than the weight of the fluid displaced by it, then a net upward force acts on the body, and as a result, the body moves upward, and a part of the body floats above the free surface of the fluid such that weight of the liquid displaced is equal to the weight of the body. Now, V is the volume of the whole body. V dash is the volume of the immersed part of the body, and the body displaces liquid of volume V dash. So, weight of the liquid displaced is V dash rho g, which is equal to m into g, that is weight of the body. Here, rho is the density of liquid. Now, V dash rho g is equal to V into d into g, where d is the density of the body. Now, dividing both the sides by g, we have V dash rho equals to V into d. Now, arranging the sides, we have V dash over V is equal to d over rho. As V dash is less than V, therefore d is also less than rho. So this phenomenon arises when the density of the body is less than the density of the fluid. We often talk about hot air balloon. It also works on Archimedes' principle. The balloon is open at the bottom, and the pressure and volume of air inside do not change. When the air inside the balloon is heated with the burner, kinetic energy of gas molecules increases, and the molecules move faster. So they require a larger space, and some molecules leave the internal space of the balloon. Hence, the total weight of balloon decreases than the upthrust exerted by air. Therefore, the balloon starts rising. Now, if the burner is turned off, then air becomes cool. The balloon starts descending as its weight becomes greater than the upthrust or buoyant force exerted by air. A ship floats on water. The volume of water displaced by the ship is much less than the volume of the ship. Thus, the effective density of ship is less than density of water, and so the ship floats on water. Fish having floating tube laterally along their bodies, which is generally filled with air. Due to this, the effective density of fish is less than the density of water, and so fish can float on water. Another interesting topic, that is submarine operation, is based on Archimedes' principle. A submarine is an airtight ship which mainly contains three important compartments, namely engine room, ballast tank, and compressed air compartment. When the underbelly doors of the ballast tank are opened, water gushes into the ballast tank, increasing its weight, and so the submarine sinks in water. To resurface the submarine again, the compressed air in the steel cylinders placed in the compressed air compartment is allowed into the ballast tank, reducing its effective density. So submarine moves up. There are also many examples which follow laws of flotation. But today's episode ends here. Enjoy your study with the channel Science. Goodbye.